Good morning. I'm Harshavardhini of IT department. Now we are going to see a topic on penetration testing. Uh, Before going on to penetration testing, we have to see the difference between the ethical hacking and the penetration testing. The ethical hackers, uh, they seem very similar to the malicious hackers, where they both attempt to breach a network systems and to acquire the passwords and to access the confidential information by any means. Ethical hackers are also called as the cybersecurity professionals who are paid by the organizations to act like malicious hackers and to find out the vulnerabilities in the security systems. So when they are successful, those organizations will retrieve those informations. And now going on to penetration testing, penetration testers use some predetermined hacking techniques to evaluate the security to a specific point in a system. Generally, penetration testing is limited in scope and it is not utilized to uncover broad vulnerabilities. Cybersecurity professionals often use this penetration test, which we can also call as the pen test, to confirm system or in compliance with cybersecurity regulations, and or they can confirm that with an existing security measures. Penetration testers typically work on teams, whereas the ethical hackers can also be in teams or an individual. So here, the penetration test is also a subclass of ethical hacking. Um, Subclass of ethical hacking, and it also combines multiple methods and procedures which aims in testing and protecting the organization security. So this penetration testers are not only responsible for fixing those issues, they also reveal the problems which will cause the vulnerability to an organization. This penetration test mainly very be useful in finding the vulnerabilities in an organization, and they can also check whether the attacker will able to exploit them to gain unauthorized access to an asset or a particular organization. Next, the main important thing between the ethical hacker and the penetration tester is these ethical hackers try to anticipate malicious hackers' behavior to expose system vulnerabilities before they becomes the problem. But where the penetration tester focus only on specific systems and methods to ensure the security and this compliance. Next one, vulnerability assessment versus penetration test. This vulnerability assessment and penetration test are oftentimes it is confused with penetration test. However, these two, vulnerability assessment and the penetration test, has two different meanings. This pen test can also be called as penetration test, where in vulnerability assessment the main goal is to figure out what are all the vulnerabilities in an organization has, and also they can document them accordingly based on those found vulnerabilities. Next, in penetration test, we just need to stimulate as an hacker to see if we can actually exploit any vulnerability and document those vulnerabilities that were exploited, and it should be turned to be false positive. Next one, pre-engagement and rules of engagement. So this two topic is very important. Before they this Pre-engagement and rules of engagement is followed before initiating any hacking procedure or a penetration test procedure. First of all, pre-engagement. In pre-engagement, before starting a penetration test, there must be a lot of things that is to be discussed with the company or an organization. So this phase, both the customer and the representative of the company would sit down and discuss about the legal requirements, which we call it as a rules of engagement. So these legal requirements will be discussed by the customer and the representative, where the customer can be also called as the pen tester. Next one, rules of engagement. In rules of engagement, uh, it defines basic set of rules which only defines the methods, the start date, end date, and the milestone and the goals and the responsibility and the liabilities. So this rules of engagement defines the overall phases where the penetration test occurs. So once all of them has been mutually agreed, both the customer and representative side, then the penetration testing will be started. Next one, rules of engagement. So, what are all the important requirements to be followed in almost every ROE? That is the rules of engagement. First one, a proper permission to hack, which we also call it as a permission that the organization should provide the penetration tester, and also a non-disclosure agreement which should be signed by the parties. Next is the scope, which part of organization or asset that is to be tested. Then is the project duration, which we also call it as a start date and the end date. Then the methods that is be used or applied in conducting a penetration test. Then the goals of penetration test. Then the techniques, or whether any DOS method to be applied, like that. All those things must be require all those things must be provided in the rules of engagement. And last one is the liabilities and responsibilities. So this liabilities and responsibilities should be signed by the penetration tester and the organization before starting the engagement process. Next one, penetration engagement document, which we call it as a pre-engagement document. This is a sample one. So this documents focus mainly on the scope, that is the scope of the penetration testing. Next is the metrics, which this metrics is used for estimating or calculating the time. Then next is the questionnaires. The questionnaires can be for business unit management managers, or the system administrators, or for help desk, or for employee question. And the next is your system creep, which is the letter of amendment and to tie back the goal section. And the next is your IP ranges and domains. So this specification of IP ranges and domains is mainly used to validate the range. And last one is the dealing with third parties and social engineering pretext. So this dealing with third parties is mainly used for web hosting, countries where those servers are hosted, cloud services, internet service providers, etc. So these are the pre-engagement document. That is, these are the pre-engagement document which is used by the penetration testers before starting or before engaging into a work. That is the before engaging into organizations asset. Next is methodologies. So this penetration testing methodologies is mainly of three types. So each and this methodology can also be called as methods, or some of the important steps which a penetration test should be aware of all those three before starting a penetration test for an organization. Next, this penetration testing methodologies is of three types. First is OSSTMM, which is Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual. And next is the NIST, that is National Institute of Standards and Technology. And third one is OWASP, that is Open Web Application Security Project. So these three things, that is OSSTMM, NIST, and OWASP. So these are the three methodologies that are widely used in penetration testing engineering. And next one, then this is the first one, OSSTMM, that is Open Source Security Testing Methodology Manual. See, this methodology manual, it consists of multiple steps which are involved in the penetration testing. This penetration testing, this type of methodology is somewhat difficult to implement, but this works for the best, which is of mainly two types. One is the data collection, and another one is the verification testing. This data collection and verification testing are the two important components. In the data collection, we have to get through on logistics control, the portrait review, and then is the privacy review, document grinding, and overall log. And in the verification testing, we have to go under multiple verification schemes, which is called intrusion detection, system service verification. Then after going on to system service verification, this report is to be submitted to competitive intelligence scouting, And next is your exploit research and verification, and then internet application testing. So this research and verification and internet application testing is a bidirectional way, where the internet application testing is connected to the privacy review. And next is your trusted system testing, which mainly leads to access control testing. And in trusted system testing, it is related to document grinding, where this contains multiple measures, including the password cracking. Then next, based on this trusted system testing and measure test containment measure testing, there are four important components, that is access control testing, servability review, privilege service testing, and last one is the denial of service testing. So these are all combined to form a alert and log review, which is based on the security policy review. So the security policy review consists of multiple steps, and finally all those are enhanced into a single one, which we call it as a alert and log review. So this is the OSSTMM. So this manual consists of all the necessary steps involved in ethical hacking, involved in penetration testing systems. And next is one is the NIST. So NIST refers to National Institute of Standards and Technology. This NIST is divided into two main things. One is the first phase, and next one is the second phase, which we call it as a attack phase. First is the discovery phase, and next one overall phase, and second one is the attack phase. So before going on to that, this NIST works on four main phases. One is planning, second is discovery, third is attack, and fourth one is reporting. Excuse me. So these are the four important phases. This NIST is more comprehensive than OSSTM, and this NIST is working mainly based on short engagements. Next one, there are four steps. One is planning, second is discovery, third is attack, and fourth is reporting. So, in NIST, the testing phase starts with planning phase, where the engagement is performed based on the decision. And next is the discovery phase, where the discovery phase is divided into two parts. First part is information gathering, network scanning, service identification, and the OS detection, where the second part involves only in vulnerability assessment. So coming up again, the this NIST is mainly based on four steps. In that, the discovery phase is divided into two parts. First part consists of four main sections or process. First one is the information gathering. Second is the network scanning. Third one is the service identification. And the last one is the OS detection, that is your operating system. And the second part involves in vulnerability assessment. So this is the four phases: planning, discovery, attack, and report. Next one. So after the discovery phase, so this is after the discovery phase, there comes the attack phase, which is the heart of every penetration test. So if you can able to compromise a target and a host, then we can go back to the step two for an additional discovery. Next one, the indicating arrows in the block phase and the attack phase and the report phase. This one, uh, attack phase, discovery phase, and the report phase. Uh, uh, it is mainly used to target and report the results. It consists of things like gaining access or system browsing, escalating privilege, and to install some additional tools when in need. Excuse me. And next one is the additional discovery phase. This additional discovery phase consists of attack phase and the discovery phase, where the attack phase consists of these following steps: gaining access, escalating privilege, system browsing, and installing additional tools. So these are the four phases comes under the attack phase. And this gaining access is based on the data And escalating privilege, it is mainly used for the user's level access, or whether it may be either system access or administrator access, like that. Then is the system browsing. The system browsing is immediately identify some mechanisms to gain the access. And last one is your additional tools. So this additional penetration testing tools are installed to gain some additional information, or to gain some access. Then last one, OWASP, that is Open Web Application Security Project. So, so both methodologies. So this methodology is something very much easier compared to the both. So here in this OWASP, we follow application penetration test, which called as RHA info section. So this OWASP is mainly consist of everything what a what a tester needs to test for a web application. Next one, this methodology is much more comprehensive, and it is designed based on some web based applications security researches. Next one, types of penetration testing. So these are some types of penetration test, that is which is categorized into five types. One is your network penetration testing, second is the web application, third is mobile application, fourth is your social engineering, and last one is the physical penetration test. So in network penetration test, as it names, we are mainly going to this testing is mainly used to test the network environments and some potential security vulnerabilities and threats based on the networks. So it is divided into two categories. One is the internal and another one is your external. So in external, this external penetration test is mainly used in testing the public IP address, whereas in internal test, this is used to test the VPN access or internal components inside the networks. Next one is the web application penetration testing. In web application penetration test, uh, it is mainly used more common than network penetration testing, and it is used to test some data like critical data like credit card numbers, username and password. And next is your mobile application penetration test. In mobile application penetration test, it is most commonly now used in Android and iOS based mobile applications, which provide exclusive service to the customers. Therefore, by using this mobile application penetration testing, the it is secure enough for the users to rely on providing personal informations. Then next is the social engineering penetration test. In social engineering penetration test, it can be a part of network penetration testing, and also this is mainly used in browser exploitation. And to avoid this browser exploitation from malicious attackers, we can go for social engineering penetration test. And last one is the physical penetration test. In physical penetration test, this is rarely done by the penetration tester, and also it in physical penetration testing, it mainly focus on physical security controls by looking RFID mechanisms. So thank you.